The Norman mayoral election continues, an abortion rally against a bill awaiting Governor Stitt's signature, and the student loans pause is extended. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Tyler DeLuca.
And I'm Mady Daddario. We begin with Election Day in Norman and other spots across the state.
There are several items on the ballot, but likely the biggest in Norman is the runoff race for mayor. Incumbent Brigg and challenger Larry Heickla are facing off after an earlier election did not result in one candidate getting 50% or more of the vote.
And although they're running against each other, they do agree on one thing. Both are against the new turnpike proposed for Norman. OU Nightly's Dana Searles is in the studio with the latest. Dana, how was voter turnout today?
Mady, voter turnout is steady today. Many coming out for the mayor's vote, a very hot topic here in Norman. The polls have been steady today as residents are voting to decide the outcome of the runoff race. The runoff is between incumbent Mayor Brigg and challenger Larry Heickla. You'll see signs for both candidates across the city, and it's expected to be a tight race. Clark received 36.5% of the votes, while Heickla got 32% in a five-way race. Voters at this precinct in West Norman stood in line this morning to vote for the mayor and a proposition that would raise water bills in the city of Norman by a little less than $4 a month. Residents are also voting for the Ward 4 City Council and a school board seat. The polls will be open until 7 p.m. tonight and will post results on OU social media. Tyler, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Dana. To the state capitol now, where Oklahoma lawmakers just sent a strict anti-abortion bill to Governor Stitt's desk. OU Nightly's Audrey Goodson is live at the capitol with the details. Audrey?
Tyler, the bill was passed the same day hundreds of people rallied here at the state capitol against it. But one thing's for certain, everyone has a strong opinion. Outside the state capitol today, hundreds of people holding their signs and voicing their opposition to the bill that will make performing abortions in Oklahoma, except those that save the life of a mother, a felony. Many Republican lawmakers say the bill will protect the lives of the unborn.
In about a 10-year period of time, we had 96,000 abortions in Oklahoma. That's 96,000 Oklahomans we could have had.
But Democratic Minority Leader Emily Virgin says the bill will make things harder for women who need access.
We have very few abortion providers right now, and this would literally criminalize them for doing their jobs, for providing a procedure that is constitutionally protected. So this is absolutely detrimental to the state.
Once the bill goes into effect, the closest abortion clinics for Oklahomans not facing a health crisis will be in Arkansas and Kansas.
You have the haves, where people can access abortion care, and the have-nots, where people are forced to travel if they can afford to do so, or they're going to have to terminate their pregnancies without medical support, or in some cases be forced to carry a pregnancy against their will.
Governor Stitt is expected to sign the bill. If it becomes law, anyone performing abortion that is not on a mother whose life is in danger could face up to 10 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. Reporting from the state capitol, Audrey Goodson, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Audrey. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is demanding accountability for the horrific actions in Bucha. Zelensky says the gruesome attacks taken by Russian soldiers should be classified as war crimes and that Russian military needs to be brought to justice. The UN says the images coming out of Bucha indicate the civilians were directly targeted.
They killed entire families, adults and children, and they tried to burn the bodies. The most terrible war crimes of all times are we see since the end of World War II.
Zelensky is also calling for all Spanish companies to stop business with Russia and for stricter Western sanctions on Russia, including oil imports.
And 3 Republican senators have taken a political risk in voting for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Brooklyn Sweet has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Tyler. 3 Republican senators have publicly stated they will vote for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation to the Supreme Court. Jackson's nomination advanced out of the Senate Judiciary Committee on Monday by a 53-47 vote, with the help of Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Mitt Romney of Utah.
I became convinced that she's within the mainstream. She's also highly qualified, intelligent, a capable person, and I wish her the very best.
This puts Jackson on track to be confirmed later this week by the full Senate. Today, Ivanka Trump, former President Donald Trump's eldest daughter and senior advisor, is testifying before the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riots. The committee sent her a letter in January requesting a voluntary testimony. Sources claim Ivanka Trump was with her father in the Oval Office the day of the attacks. Ms. Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner, are among the highest-ranking Trump White House officials to testify before the committee. Today, President Joe Biden was joined by former President Barack Obama to commemorate the new executive order to preserve and expand the Affordable Care Act. The executive order directs federal agencies to do everything in their power to expand health care coverage. Biden hopes it will strengthen benefits, lower costs, and make enrollment easier for Americans. The rule will go into effect beginning January 1st, 2023. And last night, first-time Grammy Award winner Olivia Rodrigo dropped one of her trophies in front of photographers, breaking it on the red carpet. Mady and Tyler, back to you.
And it's so funny that Olivia Rodrigo did that because one of her idols is Taylor Swift, and a few years back, Taylor Swift did the same exact thing with the same exact amount of Grammys in her hand. So it's kind of like
Took a little too much inspiration.
Exactly. Well, the weather outside today is drastically different than what we saw yesterday, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough for this sunshine to stick around.
And if you aren't sure whether you should leave your umbrella in your car or not this week, Colton Williams has your first look at our forecast.
I tell you what, you guys, I hope you had your umbrellas with you yesterday. Today, much different story. Yesterday had a decent round of rain move through the state of Oklahoma. We had just over 2 inches here in Norman. Lawton saw 3/4 of an inch, but all across southern and south central Oklahoma saw several inches of rain here. Wanette, the Mesonet site, picked up nearly 6 inches of rain. So, like I said, here in Norman didn't have quite that much. We did have a nice band of rain extend all the way out, drop 2 inches over Lake Eufaula. We've got more coming as we look at next week. So fire weather today, we've got a cool down on the way. I'll tell you about our next storm details coming up here in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Colton. And for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic, the OU Student Government Association is getting a funding increase. Find out how they plan on spending it next on OU Nightly.
Plus, the pause on student loan repayment is planning to be extended. Find out for how long when OU Nightly returns.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. After 2 years of dealing with COVID-19, the OU Student Government Association has some good news for students on campus. The SGA advocates for and oversees the funding of campus events and organizations, but due to the pandemic, funding for groups had decreased, ultimately putting many events on hold for a couple of years. Now, ahead of Spring Family Weekend, SGA President Zach LaSalle says they've seen an increase in funding for the first time in a while.
Kind of looking into, obviously reopening and, organizations are able to hold in-person events. And so that was a priority for us. That was a priority for our administration, was to advocate for more student activity fee allocations.
To the SGA website for a full list of family weekend events to enjoy around campus.
And coming up in Money Matters, a sigh of relief for people with student loans and a shortage of encouraging Americans to break their piggy banks. Mecca Thompson has that story in Money Matters.
A Biden administration official says the government is planning to extend the current pause of federal loan repayment through the end of August. Balances on student loans have been effectively frozen for more than 2 years now, which was set to expire May 1st. It will impact most loans, excluding older ones known as federal family education loans, which are not technically held by the government. An official announcement of the extension is expected tomorrow, so keep an eye out. And retailers are reporting another shortage in pocket change. A group of trade associations has asked the U.S. Treasury Department to encourage Americans to start using change again. The Fed created the U.S. Coin Task Force to help stop the use of coins due to the spread of infections at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. That helped for a while, but now that infection rates are down, consumers appear to be rationing their pennies, nickels, and dimes again. And Twitter announced today that they plan to appoint the Tesla and SpaceX CEO, Elon Musk, to its board of directors with the term ending in 2024. This comes after he bought a 9% stake in the social media company, which sent shares increasing 25% in early trading yesterday. As a result of Musk joining forces with Twitter, he is now the largest individual shareholder. Mady and Tyler, on the topic of Elon Musk, according to Forbes' real-time rankings, he is one of the world's wealthiest people in the world with a whopping new net worth of $300 billion.
Thanks, Mecca. And if you're a wannabe storm chaser, now may be your chance to turn that dream into a reality. The National Weather Center is offering free opportunity you might not want to pass up. Find out what when OU Nightly returns.
And Colton, for our future storm chasers out there, what is the weather looking like right now?
Hey, you won't be doing much storm chasing over the next couple of days and into this weekend. I tell you what, though, maybe an opportunity to storm chase come early next week. We'll talk about all that and more coming up in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colton Williams, taking a live look now at downtown Oklahoma City. It's been a gorgeous day out there today, much different than what we saw yesterday. Look at the beautiful blue sky, hardly any clouds out there. If they are, they're high hanging. Now we're sitting at 78 here in Oklahoma City. Once again, lots of sunshine. The winds are out of the southwest, 20 maybe to 25 miles per hour, so it is a little bit gusty out there. I will say, I showed you rainfall. The folks who missed out are really hurting today, sitting in the lower 10s and 20s in terms of relative humidity values. It is dry out west. This has led to a dangerous fire risk. There is now a red flag warning extending really from I-35 westward and I-44 and westward as well. So very dangerous fire conditions in western and southwestern Oklahoma today. This will expire at 10 p.m. tonight, and that is ahead of our next cold front. Now here, just over 2,600 miles away, it may not look like much. That is our next storm system set to arrive early next week. Again, it's going to take a path all the way here into western Oklahoma as we go throughout the next several days. Current big picture right now, we do have our cold front getting ready to slide through here into northwestern Oklahoma. This will slide through overnight tonight. There's a big complex of storms going on now in the deep south. So as we take a look at our temperature forecast here over the next several hours here, we're going to see a cold front slide through here. Oklahoma City, 70s ahead of it, 60s behind it. But these blue numbers, these are your wind gusts as we head into your Wednesday and your Thursday. Wednesday morning will be cool with a northwesterly wind. Wednesday afternoon, we'll be talking about temperatures in the lower 60s, winds gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour. Before then, Thursday morning, once again, low 40s. Thursday afternoon, we'll be once again sitting in the 60s. So coming up early next week, so into this weekend now, with this big cyclone exiting, we'll be below average. Lots of northwesterly winds. As we head into late part of this week, we'll have 60s and 70s. And then as we gear up and we look for this weekend, we'll have a seasonal weekend. It's going to be a good-looking weekend. Before now, we take a look into early next week. We have this big low-pressure system. This has the potential to bring strong storms for your Monday and your Tuesday. So we could be looking at a multi-day event here. We'll have to keep our eye on this and watch the data as it continues to come in. So looking into this weekend, once again, several days worth of 60s. Before then, we see 70s, 80s return for that storm chance Monday and Tuesday.
Thanks, Colton. If you find yourself looking out the window when storms roll in, taking pictures of lightning, or possibly measuring hailstones, you might be interested in turning your passion into useful skills. The National Weather Service annually offers free storm spotter trainings nationwide for weather enthusiasts or for those who just want to feel better prepared when things go dark. They also provide materials and recorded modules on their Skywarn webpage for free access all year round.
They really emphasize knowing what county you're in and the counties that are around you, because knowing where you are or knowing where you're nearby will allow you to know your location, how you're supposed to be safe, and showing you that you need to have an accurate storm report with a location, time, what's happening at that moment, and then sending it out in an area where they're going to see it, like on Twitter or Facebook.
If you missed this season's live training sessions or just want to refresh your knowledge, visit weather.gov/Skywarn to find the Storm Spotter training materials.
And the men's March Madness tournament came to a conclusion last night.
Brigg, what can you tell us about the Kansas Jayhawks comeback title win?
Well, guys, many thought the game was over at half, but the Jayhawks soared their way to the national championship. I'll have more on that next. And in other news, Tiger Woods is back. Stick around to hear what he has to say about the Masters this weekend. Hello and welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Brigg Bates and it's time for sports. We begin tonight with the game that everyone is talking about. The game of a lifetime was delivered last night as two basketball powerhouses met for the NCAA Men's National Championship. The North Carolina Tar Heels came out on fire, taking the lead at half over the Kansas Jayhawks 40-25. Many thought the game was over, but it lined up for a perfect comeback story for the Jayhawks. Coach Bill Self turned things around as KU rallied for a 16-point deficit and took the lead late in the second half. The Jayhawks held off to win 72-69 and take home the Natty Championship, making it the largest comeback in NCAA Finals history.
It's great for us. We played a terrific team. They played their butts off the first half. We had no answer. Somehow the switch flipped the second half, and our guys were unbelievable.
How happy are you for him with that kind of a comeback?
You know, it would be unbelievable to win it all, but to win it that way, that'll be one that not too many people forget very soon.
Moving on to the pros, the road to make an NBA roster was not an easy one for Lindy Waters, but he is making his impact known around the league.
The road to make an NBA roster was not an easy one for Lindy Waters, but he's making his impact known around the league. In his first season in the NBA, he has 7.9 points, 3 rebounds, and shooting 35% from 3, which is a huge addition to the Thunder roster that is dead last in three-point efficiency in the NBA this season.
I'm just trying to create some action off the ball. I know I bring a lot of shooting gravity, so sometimes it takes the guy away, and we play 4-on-4 and just opens up the floor even more. So just trying to be a threat and the best way I can be, which is coming off of gets, shooting the ball.
This isn't too bad for an undrafted rookie who went from a semi-pro league to the Oklahoma City Blue, then finally his hometown NBA team that plays their games just 20 miles away from his hometown. Lindy Waters is soaking in the moment, letting the game come to him while playing just 20 minutes from his hometown. In the last 4 games, he's averaged over 16 points and hit 4 threes in each of those games. And off the court, he's making an impact on his community, and he knows it.
I think there was like 1 or 2, maybe some more if I didn't know, but there was a lot of people from Norman, especially at this game. So it was cool to see all those people.
Waters is currently on a 2-way contract that is signed back in February, but he's a big part of the Thunder's success and community. Jimmy Wicks, OU Nightly.
Waters and the Thunder take on the Trailblazers tonight at the Paycom Center with a 7 p.m. tip-off. OU women's basketball coach Jenny Baranczyk has been named National Head Coach of the Year by World Exposure Report. This is Jenny B's first year coaching the Sooners as she orchestrated a 13-win improvement from last season. Coach Baranczyk guided the Sooners into the top 25 for the first time in nearly 5 years. Tiger Woods hit the Augusta Greens yesterday for a practice round where he was met by hundreds of fans. As of now, 15-time major champion Woods is prepared to play this weekend after his tee time was released today. Tiger believes he is 100% ready to go after almost losing his life in a car accident in February 2021. Woods is going for a record-tying 6 green jackets this weekend at the age of 46.
The question is simple. Do you think you can win the Masters this week?
I do.
And what have you seen in your preparation that leads you to believe that?
Well, I can hit it just fine. And I don't have any qualms about what I can do physically from a golf standpoint. It's now walking is the hard part.
In other sports news, Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby has announced he is stepping away from his role later in the year after the conference has undergone a turbulent past 12 months. Tyler, Mady, back to you.
Well, Brigg, you mentioned the Masters, and winning it might be sweet, but waffles with syrup might be a little bit sweeter.
Find out how Waffle House is celebrating the Masters next on OU Nightly.
I'm Emily Faith at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Today, Sacramento police made their second arrest related to the deadly shooting that happened Sunday in downtown Sacramento. The suspect has a criminal record stretching back to 2013 and was seen on a Facebook Live brandishing a handgun just hours before the shooting. The suspect is in jail on felony charges. Back to you, Mady.
Thanks, Emily. Waffle House is putting a new item on the menu, and it's not what you might be expecting.
The 24/7 breakfast spot has partnered with Adidas to celebrate the 86 Masters with the release of golf shoes. The shoe itself is the crisp brown color of the famous waffles, and the 3 stripes feature the waffle pattern itself.
And before we go, Colton, can we get one last look at this week's forecast?
Yeah, this week looks great, right? This week is a week to make some outdoor plans. Be a little below average until this weekend, then we'll be in the 70s and the 80s once again. Before then, on Monday, now we talk about our next round of severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued a slight risk that includes all of central Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa Metro. If they're issuing this 7 days out, this means forecast confidence is pretty high that we're going to see severe weather develop coming up this Monday. So we're going to have to keep our eye on this, watch the data as it continues to come in. 60s for your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll have a couple mornings that'll be a little bit chilly. Northwesterly winds. You may want to break out the jacket before then this weekend. You can certainly ditch them as we see temperatures jumping right back up into the 70s and 80s ahead of that next storm chance.
Well, after Monday and waking up to that rain, I'm certainly glad that the rest of the week at least is looking up.
Yes, me as well. And thank you so much for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Be sure to join us weekdays live at 4:30 and again at 9:30. Good night.